tell you a story about Georgina Butter. 19-year-old girl, just graduated from high school, was getting ready to attend a music festival late last year. Now Georgina did what many of us do when we attend these events, and she took an ecstasy tablet. And Georgina died a couple of hours later. Now this is Georgina and her best friend Rebecca. Rebecca handed Georgina the drugs on the day, so now she's been charged and she'll be sentenced in July. Now tragedies like this happen every single week. But what really troubles me with this is that I went to a similar school as Georgina, I graduated at a similar time, I knew a lot of people at this festival, so this could have been any one of my friends, my sisters, your children. Now I spoke to a lot of people who attended Harbour Life Music Festival, and it really showed me that there's a profound disconnect between the physiological effects of drugs and social drug use. And this got my partner and I thinking, why didn't our drug education resonate with us? Now my most salient memory of my drug ed was a police officer coming in and saying, oh, don't do drugs or you end up on the street. Well, perhaps that wasn't all he said. In fact, I'm sure he had a lot of important information that I needed to know, but the fact was, I sat there thinking, he doesn't understand anything about me. So the rest is irrelevant. And I think this brings to light an inherent flaw within the drug education system. And it's not in the content, it's in the delivery. Now, after speaking to 3 different schools, we found that 85% of students are dissatisfied with their current drug ed. It's time to try something new, it's time to get real. Good evening, I'm Jenny and this is my partner Minna, and we are the co-founders of a social enterprise called Illicit.
So at Illicit, it is our mission to smash drug use through real conversation. We recruit charismatic uni students, train them in the Illicit method, and send them to high schools to deliver seminars on recreational drugs. Currently, we're exploring avenues to embed these placements into the uni curriculum. That way, students can be compensated with credit points towards their degree. But more importantly, what makes Illicit different? What makes us the solution? Firstly, every facilitator at Illicit is under the age of 25. As Jenny's story illustrates and studies confirm, when it comes to the world of young people, adolescents rely on one another, not formal authority. So, a peer-led approach is the best way to open up the conversation and start making an actual difference. Secondly, we give the naked facts about drugs, stripped of any moralizing. Tragedies like Georgina's happen because as a society, we present these issues as black and white, right or wrong. And meanwhile, youth are confronted with a million shades of grey. So what if we took the morals out of it and let science talk? Take alcohol, for instance. So when we're drunk, we can't walk straight, we slur our words. Sometimes we forget what happened yesterday. Let's link this behaviour to what's actually going on inside our heads. So you can see how the intoxicated brain is actually missing any of the red or yellow regions that indicate higher level functioning. And the really scary thing is, this then goes on to stunt the formation of brain connections. We need to learn new things. Now, when I have a look at this image, Mr. Sober over there and Mr. Addict over here, the line of drug down the middle, I immediately disconnect. I disconnect because I know plenty of people who take drugs, and not all of them look like that. But put us under a CT scanner, and every single one of us looks like this. Taking an explorative rather than authoritative approach allows us to demystify drugs. In this way, knowledge and allows us to demystify drugs. Sorry. Finally, we want a practical component to our workshops marked by a show, don't tell approach. Through professional role play, we want to superimpose kids into intense drug-related scenarios that they have to navigate. In this way, knowledge and skills are immediately translated into the real life context before it's too late. And yes, we're a business. We charge for our seminars on a per student basis of $15. Currently, we're working on our Preschoolies pilot program, which is set to launch in September with a target of 10 schools. Now, if Illicit signs up just one in every 7 schools in Sydney alone, it will be a business that generates $1 million of revenue. But why stop there? We see the future of Illicit as the go-to external provider of a comprehensive drug education package, including an e-learning platform. We will leverage off our workshops to create the best possible virtual reality game to reach any demographic.
Now, poisoning, injury and suicide are the 3 biggest killers of Australian youth today, and every single one is related to drugs. Australia sees a big drug issue, but we see something different. We see a world of opportunity, the opportunity to reconnect with ourselves.
We see a world of change, the change towards healthier bodies and minds.
And we are starting a revolution, and tonight it's your chance to get involved. So any investment tonight will go into multimedia and interactive response technology to bring our presentations to life. But tonight we're actually asking for more than that. We're asking for your voice. What was your drug education like? Shoot us an email. Know a school that would benefit from Illicit? Put us in touch. And if you're interested in this project, please back it, because this isn't a revolution we can do on our own. It really involves us all. And if not us, then who?
If not now, then when? Thank
You guys are awesome.
I stopped on my presentation.
That was a great presentation. You both are very good public speakers, and I do hope that my daughter one day gets exposed to one of you. That's all I can say. Really enjoyed that. Look, one thing that I might have missed because I was taking notes. Did you say that schools were going to pay for this?
So,
Who's paying for it?
yeah, that would really depend on the school, so we want to leave the option open. We are thinking to charge on a per student basis. Now, private schools would usually pay for that upfront. I went to a public school, and programs like this were usually paid. Our parents would pay
Like the
for it.
school would pay for it and it's bulk billed onto the student's account.
That's
But
what you do.
yeah. So
This is more of a comment. I work with a lot of companies that try and sell into schools. It's a very hard slog. And I just would advise you to think about other funding sources as well,
Subsidies,
because you're doing something really worthwhile. And I would think about other pots of money perhaps to be able to take this and really scale it. That would be my comment.
Yeah.
Over to you, James.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as we've said, great presentation. You guys are very engaging. I can see why you'd be very effective giving a workshop to students. My question is what drugs are you guys focusing on in particular? With the reason being that, if you're going to look at the science of drug effects, alcohol is perhaps one of the worst in terms of harm, whereas drugs that are legal like marijuana are arguably nowhere near as bad. So how do you rectify that, and what's your thoughts on that? That's a personal opinion, by the way.
yeah.
But even on the harm scale of numerous science journals, we see that alcohol is one of the worst, whereas some drugs aren't. What are you guys focusing on? Is it kind of illicit, highly addictive, ice, heroin, cocaine, or what is?
Yep, so it will really change because we're going to do years 10, 11 and 12.
Yeah.
So our preschoolies pilot phase might probably focus on ecstasy, cocaine and cannabis. Yeah, and ice, the current ice epidemic would obviously, initiate a lot of a big ice focus. But I think our focus is on illicit drugs, but Australia has a massive issue with prescription drug abuse, so opioids and things like that.
Which is actually really interesting.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So we'll definitely focus on that. We included alcohol in our slides today because that is something that everyone here can relate to, and it's really most of the drugs are very obvious, but it's just a good example. If we were running illicit drug workshops, we would have to include alcohol as well, I think. So our focus would be on illicit recreational drugs with also prescription drugs and alcohol, but not tobacco.
Great, thanks.
Our focus is more on the science, so yeah. Yes, tobacco. Right. So.
I'm going to follow up with one very quick question on the cash flow side. You did actually say you were looking for some money to move forward. You said some money. Could you perhaps expand on what some is? Is it $1 or is it $100 or what we're looking at?
Yeah, well, we've got a little bit of investment at the moment from the Carnegie Foundation, so that's going to go into our workshop training. But tonight we're actually after, we want to purchase an interactive response technology. So that's these clickers. So if I've got like a cohort of year 12 students, I'm like, who here does drugs? What are your concerns? Ask questions like that. There's anonymous, real-time, seamless response, so we can get that up on the board and everyone can see what they're thinking. So that's our biggest cost. And then there's multimedia and video. Did that answer your question? Or would you like the breakdown?
The number?
Or just a number?
Well, yeah, $2,000 I think is the stocks for tonight. So yeah, but anything, we're happy with anything really. We want collaboration, we want support. Money is an awesome aspect of that, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Thanks.